Well, a young man who's come on quite strong in the last few weeks would be rookie winger Mike Foligno. And Sid spent a few minutes with Mike just before the start of tonight's game.
Michael, they always say there's an adjustment for a junior #1 draft pick coming into the National Hockey League. Early in the season, you seem to have problems. Have you found it that tough?
Well, I guess at the beginning of the season, you try to get used to things, and it's a different atmosphere. You got to meet different people. You have to get used to the players on the club and the management and the coaches, and just living in Detroit. And I think that was one of the biggest things that affected me right at the beginning of the year. It took me a little while to get adjusted after living, playing all my hockey in Sudbury, my hometown, Sudbury, Ontario. But it took me a little while just to get adjusted to people and to the atmosphere that I was in Detroit. And I'm glad it turns out the way it is, because I started off slow, and I just picked up a little bit as I went along, and the players helped me out a lot. Mahavich really helped me out, for Pete Mahavich, and a lot of the other players, Dennis Polanic and Dan Bolduc, and just all-around help from everybody on the team. With my line mates at the beginning of the year, I got a lot of encouragement, and I had a lot of confidence in myself, because these players have kind of had confidence in me. Bobby Crum always helped me out on situations that I wasn't familiar with when I played junior. And it helped me in a lot of ways, because I overcame most of the problems in practice, and I worked extra hard, and luckily things are not going too bad right now.
I'm not going to ask you many questions, when you answer it that long. I recall Ted Lindsay saying, after he had drafted you, saying, fans in Detroit are going to have to get used to your skating habits, the fact that you skate with such an upright torso where you're not bending that much. And as I recall, the first month, I used to say, boy, they're going to carry Mike off. And 2 or 3 times you got your bell rung pretty good by some pretty solid checks. Lately, you seem to be avoiding those. Are you picking up little tricks in the National League now as you go along?
Well, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready for the type of players. At first, I didn't know what players you had to really watch out for. And now I've been to the league, and I've played every team at least once. And I know pretty well the players that you can take your time against, the players that you can not take your time against. And I think getting used to these players, knowing how they play, and them knowing how I play, they, you sort of can get by with the way I skate and the way I move on the ice. But I've got nailed a few times. I know I felt it, and rung my bell a few times. But that's part of the game. You're going to get hit no matter what type of player you are, what style of player you are. But I think Lindsay was referring to the way I skated, because I was on my butt so many times. But I overcame that. But he asked me earlier this year. He says, Mike, he says, how come you always fall on the ice? I said, well, that's my style. I have to, I try, and if I don't do things, and if I do get hit, if I fall, I'll get right back up. And at first, it took him a while to understand why I fell down so many times, but I finally explained to him what type of player I was, and he recognized that, and he accepted that, because I'm sort of the scrappy style. It takes me a little bit longer to get somewhere than somebody else, but I'll get there, on my own 2 feet, and take me a little while longer than somebody else.
They talk an awful lot about another rookie, Brian Propp, playing with Philadelphia. And I know the guys kid you in practice, things like that. Brian Propp got off to a terrific start. He scored 10 goals or something in his first 8 games. Here you are now within a couple points of catching him, just beyond the halfway point. Have you given any thought at all that possibly you could be named Rookie of the Year?
No, it never even crossed my mind. No, it's constantly on the back of my mind, but I don't try to put it ahead of anything else. We're having problems of, like, winning at home, and that's what I have to try to get ahead of anything else. The team always comes first, and I'm sure that scoring will take care of itself. I'm playing with Dale McCourt and John Ogrodnik right now, and Dale's a heck of a playmaker, and he'll set me up, I'm sure. And if we work hard, and you're bound to get moments or you're going to have a hard time, but goals are going to come. I don't worry about that too much. I've always been able to do it, and it's something that comes naturally, I feel, and I don't let it bug me too much, because I think once I start letting it worry me, I'm not going to get anything, because I know it's happened before.
Mike, growing up in Sudbury, playing all your junior hockey in Sudbury, did you have a club in the National League that you preferred? Most of the kids in Canada want to go to either Montreal or to Toronto. Here you come to an American city, to Detroit. Did you give that any thought at all finally when you were drafted?
I did. While my junior years, I guess I thought about playing for Detroit because, well, I guess it started a long time ago with the Alex Delvecchio and Gordie Howe and, you know, players like yourself, Sid Abel. When I was growing up, I sort of followed hockey players like that because, well, you look at Delvecchio, he was Italian, and my relatives and family, they sort of respected him, and they I don't know, but they followed him because he was Italian.
Right.
And he'd follow the newspapers and, you know, sort of go after that. And
Mike, keep it going. Keep scoring goals. Keep winning hockey games. Start winning at home. The very best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thank
and,
you
of
very
course,
much.
the Red Wings.
Thank you very much.
Thanks ever so much. Now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
And for being our guest on Red Wing Hockey, Puritan Sportswear would like to present Mike with a handsome sweater and knit shirt ensemble. Puritan, America's standard for quality in men's sportswear, available at fine stores everywhere. After one period of play, Toronto Maple Leafs 3, the Detroit Red Wings nothing, and we'll be back here at Maple Leaf Gardens in just a moment.